This is the MLW Radio Network.
Welcome, everybody, to the Mind of the Meanie, a weekly peek into the world according to former WWE superstar and ECW original, the Blue Meanie. Of wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I am your tour guide, Josh Shernoff, and he is the Blue Meanie. Meanie, what's on your mind?
It's beginning to look a lot like fuck this. I'm
boy.
fucking. Man, I can't believe Christmas is like here.
Seriously.
Yeah, it's just weird, man. Just it was like yesterday was August, and now we have to be festive. But it doesn't feel like Christmas because it's been so goddamn warm.
It has been,
just like,
which was great for putting up lights. My wife made me put up lights, and I looked at the weather, and I said, hey, this day's going to be like 60. Can I do it then? And it was like one of my busiest days. I didn't have like any time to do it, but I'm like, I will be damned if I'm not putting these lights up today. They are going up today. If I have to do this at midnight tonight, I'm going to get this done. I'm so glad I did.
Dude, it look, like I believe I said this with not Josh last week. It's like what was I saying?
I don't listen to the show.
Me neither. Fuck.
All right, we're gonna phone a friend. Adam, what did Meanie tell you last week?
Well, yeah, what did I say? What was the sentence I just said before that?
Hey, you have the rewind sound.
Oh my God!
I believe what you were saying was that it's been so warm lately.
I don't know.
Oh, hey, we should tell everybody at this point. So I forgot to let our Patreon members know that we were recording today, as we're recording today, Friday morning. But we just got our first Patreon member after hanging out for like 5 minutes before we started recording, hoping someone would come in. But Shackleford is here. So thank you, Shackleford, for being here. And,
yeah, man. It's I thought it was going to be like that episode of this is old school Saturday Night Live, maybe late 70s or whatever. They had a segment called Hey Trudy.
Yes.
Where the guy hosted a show called Hey Trudy, and they called it Hey Trudy because their only viewer was a woman named Trudy.
So,
and they're like, hey, let's go to the phones. Who's on the phone? Hey, it's Trudy.
All right, so here's the deal, and this could change. But if by the time we are done recording, I think if no one shows up of our Patreon other than Shackleford, we name the episode Shackleford.
All right. I co-sign.
All right. But only if he's the only one. Or if we're like, what should we name this? And we can't come up with something because we don't remember what we talked about, then we're just going to call it Shackleford.
Deal.
I don't know what he says. I'm going to have to misbeat the hammer for this. I choose Mind of the Meanie. I don't know what Beat the Hammer is. Although,
he must listen to WIP.
Oh, I was going to say, is he telling us that like this was like he was going to do his morning like constitutional, or was it like
a little inside baseball for those not in Philadelphia? There's a afternoon show, Joe DeCamera and John Ritchie, and Joe DeCamera's nickname is the Hammer, and they do this thing called Beat the Hammer, where it's like Philadelphia trivia, like real hardcore trivia, and like he's like he's like 1,000 and maybe 5 losses or something like that.
Oh wow!
And it's on during the time we're recording right now. So he says he's going to misbeat the Hammer.
Yeah, I thought that was like, hey guys, 10 a.m. on a Friday morning is me time. But I'm skipping it just for you guys. But
I'm gonna beat the Hammer to the show.
Oh, that's another option for a name. Beat the Hammer.
Beat the Hammer.
That might be the winner. All right, so it's either going to be Beat
Right.
the Hammer or Shackleford. Or Shackleford beats the
Ford
Hammer.
beats the Hammer. Write that down right now.
That's it. Even if someone shows up, I don't even care. I'm writing it down right now.
So
Shackleford, you're being immortalized.
Shackleford beats the Hammer.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay.
Oh, fuck.
This is what happens when you pay money to be a part of the Patreon group. We will embarrass you, I guess, publicly.
Yeah. That's fucking great.
That's a great name. All right. Good show. Thank you all for joining us. Come back.
Yeah.
I feel like that was it. That was all we needed.
And that thought never came back to me.
Yeah.
I thought I was about to say something to you. I said not Josh last week, and it just.
Well,
into
here's the
fucking
thing.
ether.
The good news is,
I
wasn't here
wind
last
sound
week.
effect.
All of our listeners were, so they already heard it, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. If you think about it.
Yeah.
So going back in time, we were talking about it's a little warm.
I'm trying to retrace my steps.
Yeah, it's a little too warm. I talked about how I looked up online, or I looked up what the weather was going to be like. I got those Christmas lights up there. Because there was no way that I was going to be doing that in cold weather. But I think that's when I interrupted your train of thought.
No, it wasn't you, man. It was me. I interrupted myself by saying, as I was telling Josh, I should have just said it, and I should have said, "Oh, that's why I said to not Josh last week." God damn it!
I'll tell you what. Here's my pitch for today's episode.
Yeah,
sit silently until you come up with what it was you were going to say.
Ooh, the pressure.
Oh,
let's have an on-air show meeting.
yeah.
God damn, what was it?
Wouldn't be the first time we did that. So while you're thinking about that, I'll tell everybody it is episode 90. Episode 90. It is
What's it
90
even mean?
weeks. That means there are some of you who have been fans since day one who have spent the last 90 weeks of your life listening to us. And man,
7 more than 83 weeks.
seriously, it's like, I don't know. I look at it at this point, 90 weeks, like Bischoff, what was so hard about being successful for 83 weeks?
Did you do a show during a pandemic?
Yeah, all I'm saying is, you know, we're the longest running Blue Meanie podcast in the history of Blue Meanie podcasts. So
that's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
For me to be that committed. And people often say I should be committed, but I am committed to this show. It's our baby.
Yep.
And
I've only stepped out on our baby a few times. So, yeah.
Shernoff.
Oh man, but hey, shout out to Adam Bernard, who's been killing it. In my absence.
Adam got his roadcaster.
Yeah. Oh man, he is. I was talking to him the other day, and man, he's having some fun with that thing. It's like, it's almost like looking in a like the past of us when we first got it.
He's beating his hammer to it.
Oh yeah, he is. Do we have we need a sound effect for that.
Let me go Google one.
Oh man.
No, but seriously, he's enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I told him there's a bunch of tutorials. Like there's a guy whose channel I watch a lot. Not that I learn anything because everything goes in one ear and out the other. But there's this dude named Tom Buck. He was a school teacher and teaches streaming and social media, social media and multimedia and stuff like that. And he quit his job doing that to do YouTube full time. So, he's the one who turned me onto the Roadcaster and all the uses of it and stuff like that. So, it's pretty cool. I'm glad Adam's in the Roadcaster family here. Yeah,
no, it's nice to see that. Nice to see that microphone in front of him. And, I tried to look up a hammer. Let's see if I can find pounding.
Somebody had a hammer that in the beginning of their ring music.
I think Greg the Hammer Valentine, right?
Yeah, look up the Greg the Hammer Valentine theme music.
All right, I'm looking this up. Now, how do I got to figure out how to...
Shackleford has taken over the room.
What the hell is this?
He's got.
Can you hear this or no?
No.
Can't hear it?
No.
All right, so here's where we're going to... All right, I know how we're going to do this. I can connect the Bluetooth.
Let me see.
We'll see what
As we have some dead air.
This is the worst. This is the worst episode we've done.
Worst episode ever.
Oh man.
I typed "Great the Hammer Valentine" instead of Greg.
Everybody listening right now is like, "Hey guys, we really don't need to hear this. We don't need to hear his music. Please stop going out of your way." Let
me see. Tell me if you can hear this.
Yep. Oh yeah. How did he not main event a WrestleMania with that theme song?
I know. Wait, dude, that's just the thing too. And the crowd goes mild.
Yeah.
That was like Jim Johnson's off day, just.
Yeah. And I love that also the fact that it's like, well, what does, like, you think to yourself, okay, we need a hammer. What does a hammer sound like? It's like, that's not exactly what a hammer sounds like. Like, what specific piece of metal are you hitting to make that sound? Like,
it sounded like a Three Stooges fucking sound effect. Wise guy, bink. Sound like Stone Cold hitting Vince in the head with the bedpan.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. Definitely didn't sound like a hammer.
No. So what's up, Shackleford? How are you doing? You're still the only one here.
Hey, Shackleford. I gotta say, man, your background's looking pretty good.
Oh, thank you.
With your figures.
So, I really wanted to take advantage of it because when I do all the stuff for Fight, I use the green screen now. And when So Says Shernoff comes back, the Shernie Awards are coming back this month.
Nice.
When So Says Shernoff comes back, that's also going to be on the green screen.
Nice.
And so I'm like, okay, but I got this cool setup.
Do you have it like attached to the ceiling where you just pull it down like a drape?
So I actually have it. It's like a portable thing, so I can pull it up.
Oh.
Which is really cool, yeah. So it's right there. It's behind me, and I just pull it up. But yeah, it's that like retractable type thing. It's amazing. There was a time when I was doing green screen stuff on my own, filming So Says Shernoff. There were a couple episodes in the summer because I used to do it at a community college.
Yes.
And when they were closed, I was like, well, that's fine. I'll just do them at my office. So I bought a green screen, and it was like piping and draping. Like, I was like, what this is horrible. This thing is just a retractable. It just pulls up behind me, and it's amazing. So I'm really excited about all the possibilities. Like, I pretty much can be back on my So Says Shernoff virtual set that I was on back in the day. So I'll be able to do that. So I'll be at that fake desk and all that stuff, which would be cool.
So imagine all this stuff that's come out about through the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Where you were spending all this money to rent a studio and do the Shernies and doing the So Says Shernoff and the Shernie Awards and all that stuff. Now we've got home offices, we got home studios.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. Like, I'm sure you could have found this stuff before, like the retractable green screen, stuff like that, but it was not as readily available and as affordable as before the pandemic. It just wasn't.
Also, you might not have thought of to get it.
Right. Why would I think of doing a show from home? Like, that just seems like why would I do that? Right. Like it never occurred to us when we originally started talking about doing the podcast and we were going to do it at the community college. Yeah. And it's like, well, because of course we have to meet up somewhere to do this podcast. It's like no, and you know, it's I'm just. I'm look. I wish the pandemic had never happened. I wish we would have figured this stuff out in a different way.
But if there's a silver lining, you know, the people found out more stuff about them just from out of necessity. Maybe is that the word?
That's the thing. It's the resilience, I think, of people.
Resilience, yes.
We were thrown this really crappy hand, and people and companies and everybody just was like, okay, this sucks, but here's how we're going to continue to interact with each other. We're going to continue, but again, it's like, timing's everything. This pandemic hit 10 years ago and I don't even know if there was FaceTime 10 years ago.
Right.
And if there was, it was not something that would have, we wouldn't have been able to do something like this. It just never would have happened. So.
And it's so weird. Like, what were we using when we first started doing this? Skype.
Well, I think we did Zoom originally.
Okay.
And then we went to.
Eventually, at one point, we did Skype.
Maybe it was Skype first. Maybe it was Skype before. Yeah, I don't think we did Zoom. I think we did Skype.
Because the thing I was thinking is, like, I learned so much about technology through this because I would have people who would want me to do their podcast over Skype. And I felt so stupid. I had no idea how Skype worked. Anything like this. I thought yeah.
Coffee.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's not your fault. You didn't do it. It's because I can't. Just because I don't know how to drink.
I felt like I should have been more sympathetic to your coffee mishap. But yeah, like there's a point where I never knew how Zoom worked, or I thought it was like a phone thing. I had no idea. And I would try to do these podcasts, and anytime somebody would say, "Hey, you want to do my can I interview you over Skype?" I would just be like, I can't do it because I felt so stupid. I don't know how it worked. But here we are, 90 episodes into Mind of the Meanie, and we've done Skype, we've done Zoom, we're doing the eCam thing now, and I feel like I learned a little bit through doing this podcast and stuff like that. And,
well, I'll tell you, when the pandemic happened, and we've talked about this before, like I thought my job with Fight as a on-air host was done because I think it was a week before WrestleMania when they finally canceled our plane tickets. Because we were like, we don't know what's happening. We don't know, where we're going to end up. They canceled that. And I'm like, okay, well, I was supposed to be hosting something for WrestleCon that hadn't even been announced yet. And I was supposed to be doing all this stuff for Fight. And I was like, okay, that's not going to happen. And then it's like, all right, well, there are no shows. And they pretty much were like, yeah, I mean, we don't have anything for you to host. And it's like, okay, well, this was fun. This was a fun little thing I did. And then just in kind of having like a conversation where it's like, yeah, they're going to be running this thing and we're trying to figure out how to do it. And I'm like, well, I mean, I've been having a lot of luck with Meanie doing the, all the virtual stuff and all. And they like looked at that and they're like, they were amazed at what we were doing to Mind of the Meanie. Which I don't know if that speaks highly to us or negative to them, or I don't know, whatever. But they were like, they're like, well, can you do this with more people? So, which of course I was like, oh yeah, absolutely. And then immediately went on Google, how do I do this with more people? And, but it was all of
always say yes
because
always
of Mind of the Meanie. Well, yeah, always say yes. And then that was something my buddy Matt Steffen told me at one point. When and I'll never forget it, when someone was like, do you know how to write copy? And I was like, I can figure it out or whatever. And he's like, you never say I can figure it out. He said, you say yes, and then you go figure out how to do it. No matter what someone asks you, can you do it? Yes, and then go figure it out. But without having the Roadcaster, which, was a Pod Squad member who made that connection for us and continues to, with Adam and all. And it's without all of that, without having this setup and knowing what I'm doing, I don't know that I would have had that opportunity with Fight to start producing for them and have that, snowball. So, yeah, mine and the Meanie, man, this last 90 weeks have not been in vain, that's for sure.
That's so cool.
Also,
man.
we had a lot of fun. We've had a lot of fun the last 90 weeks, especially at times where we were ready to jump out a window because, the world was terrible. But
it's not that much better.
yeah. Well, we're at a point now where we all pretend that the world is better, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we're evolving as a species, so to speak, I guess.
I do want to give a shout out to Liam Savage.
I've been staring at him as well.
Yeah, who is in the room now, a Patreon member over at patreon.com/mindofthemeanie. Although, Liam, while we thank you for joining us, we are still going to be naming this episode Shackleford Beats the Hammer.
Yeah, sorry you missed that.
Yeah, so you're probably going to want to circle back to the beginning of this to kind of know what that's all about. But we thank you for
little rewind.
And the thing is, had you been the first one, Liam, in the room today, it could have been Liam Savage Beats the Hammer as the title of the episode. So I guess be glad you weren't.
Liam Savage beats Shackleford beating the hammer.
Liam Savage beats Shackleford with a hammer. I don't know, beats Shackleford. No.
He beat him to beating the hammer.
Oh, man.
It's a tightly run contest here. Liam coming around the bend.
Oh, man, with a hammer.
Oh, no, here comes Shackleford beating a hammer.
Oh, God.
It's a photo finish.
Oh, man. So, hey, what's going on in wrestling news today? What's up? Jeff Hardy was released.
That's sad.
That is. I'm very confused by it.
Yeah.
I don't know what the situation was. I was hoping when he kind of powdered out of the ring, I mean, have you seen the video where he just...
Yeah.
I mean, it was a diving tag. He left the ring. My first thought to myself, and I don't mean this to... I don't mean this as a joke, but having done this show with you, my first thought was, what if he shit his pants? Like, everybody was we don't know what happened. Jeff Hardy is left. And my first thought was like, the dude may have just shit his pants and was like, yep, I'm going to need to get out of here. But then my thought was, why would you go through the crowd? You shit your pants.
Yeah, just have it waft.
Yep.
Yeah, through the... As someone who shit his pants in the ring, I could tell you immediately want to fucking get the fuck out of there. I shit myself a couple times. Yeah, it's sad. I mean, it's got to be serious enough that they, released them, and everybody has been posting tributes, very fitting tributes to how Jeff has influenced himself. I mean, not himself, but themselves. Like the different wrestlers are posting how Jeff has influenced them. And, it's been very touching. It's always good to see somebody get the roses while they're still here.
Yeah.
And words of encouragement for Jeff. A lot of people, everybody loves Jeff. I love Jeff. I love the Hardys,
Look, there's part of me that looks at it from a fan standpoint and goes, okay, well, hey, now we have an opportunity to see the Hardys in AEW. The most important thing, look, even if this is a guy who had 10 years left in his career, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't know that he does, but let's say he had 10 years left in his career. Well, God willing, he's got a long life after that. There is a life after wrestling, hopefully, for people. And I should say after in-ring because, look, you're in the business. Sometimes you're a lifer, even when your career's done. But my concern is, along with everybody's concern, is his well-being and his health. And maybe something like an AEW schedule would be easier for him.
Right.
He flies out once a week to do a show, and the rest of the time is able to be home taking care of himself. And
he's on the road with his brother.
That's not a knock on WWE. That's not a knock on their schedule. It's not a knock on the people he was on the road with. It's just,
and he could be a good influence on the young. AEW's got a lot of young talent that probably grew up on the Hardys.
Sammy Guevara posted a picture.
I was just about to say that. Sammy posted the photo, young Sammy with Jeff. He could be somebody in the locker room to go to for advice on wrestling and stuff like that. But when you think about Jeff and his career, he kind of made a bed that where people expect to see him do certain things in the ring, certain moves in the ring.
Yeah,
and I'm sure I think we're roughly saying I'm 48. I'm sure he's in his younger 40s.
Yeah,
and it starts to take a toll. All those missed moonsaults that I did, are starting to catch up to me. Stuff like that.
It's weird because I always looked at it. Growing up, I always had this weird this weird view of age from my personal life and then being a fan of wrestling. Because my dad was much older. I was from his second marriage, and so I always looked at my dad as like I never realized how old he actually was because I always saw him as being younger. But then as a wrestling fan, you would turn on the Attitude Era and they'd talk about the dinosaurs down in WCW. Those dinosaurs in their late 30s, early 40s. And like you would think to yourself, like, oh my God, like those are God, one day I'm going to turn 40 and that's old. And that's like, it's when you start looking in the real world, you start to realize in your 40s, you're not old. You're not like in the quote unquote real world. Like, let's say we're looking like at a corporate career, right? Yeah. Corporate career, you're not even beginning to hit your stride until your 40s.
Right.
Like your 20s, you're like, bottom of the barrel.
Still figuring shit out.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like you're in your 50s by the time you have reached that like level of your career in a certain way, so it's such a weird view on life, in pro wrestling. And then also like the more you step back and you look at it, you think of all the people we've lost in wrestling. You go, holy crap. Like they were way too, like, it's not even, I mean, there's young and then there's like, it's insane how young these people are.
Look at music. They have the Forever 27 Club, all the young talented musicians and singers who died at 27. And then like, I'm 48. And when I was a kid, it's so weird when you're a kid and you look at somebody on TV, you assume everybody's older than you, And, when I was a kid, I was like, oh, man, Jim Morrison, he had to be old, right? No, he was only 27. 27's, there's still so much more to life,
Yeah. I mean, you haven't even gotten started.
Yeah, it's crazy. So it's just, it's a perception, because like, Norm from Cheers, or, he was in his 30s, but he looked like he was in his 50s, stuff like that. Just, it's weird how you see things on TV and you think somebody's older, but, getting back to wrestling,
Well, I'll give you an example. I was just looking it up to confirm. The Big Boss Man. Right. The Big Boss Man in his heyday in WWF, before coming back in the Attitude Era, I'm not talking about that, but the late 80s, early 90s Big Boss Man that everybody's thinking of.
Yeah,
was in his 20s.
That's so
he
crazy.
He turned 30 in 1993.
Wow.
Like, so that's 1993. Amazing. So the Big Boss Man who came back in the Attitude Era was younger than I am right now.
Yeah.
And that was like the return of the old rugged vet, coming back now. That guy doing that stuff with Al Snow and everything, the guy's younger than me. And to me, still, I look at the Big Boss Man SummerSlam with the Mountie, right? As an example, just throwing it out there. It's a guy in his 20s. And I look at him still now at 38 years old. and I still see him as being older than I am now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's weird. But it also puts in perspective sometimes why these people, be it wrestlers, be it, actors, musicians, heavily wrestlers and musicians, because of the similarities in lifestyle with the travel and, because that's the thing, man. And no, I mean, you can speak to this way more than I can, but the travel, I think more than anything, whether it's the mental side of it, of being away from home, of being on the road every day you're somewhere else, or the physical side of it, the actual, I mean, like, I know, like, dude, I was in Atlanta for NWA, and I feel like I'm still recovering just from like 2 nights on a random bed in a hotel, and like having to fly just a couple of hours, like, and my body's still like, oh man, I'm still kind of getting back in the swing of things. Like it takes a lot out of people, and it's, a lot of people go, well, look, it's what they signed up for. It's like, but honestly, man, like, you don't know you signed up for it until you're in it. There's a lot of stuff I feel like people didn't tell, You
don't know until you're in the shit, and just, and in the act of traveling, people are like, oh, it must be nice to travel the world. But when you're spending 6 hours in one seat, not next to somebody you don't know, and you probably wouldn't want to be next to in real life, and just different situations. Like, I did that Alaska trip, and that really took a fucking toll on me. Just the travel of it, two 4-hour flights. One was 4.5 hours. That's like 10 hours, almost 10 hours of flying, and it's brutal. And then you gotta
everyone thinks about you're in Alaska. Everybody, you picture things like, oh, I get to be in Alaska, but you don't think about the to and from Alaska.
No.
That's
No, it's like Star Trek. You just beam yourself there. Just yeah. Dude, I remember I was on the road with WWE, and like I said, you get into a grind, and you kind of become like a person, this other person, where like. I like to say I think I'm happy-go-lucky and, cordial, but like you're in that mindset of go, 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 travel, 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 travel. There'd be times where I'm sure I might have been addicted, some people, just because of the situation I was in with the travel and the hotel and the driving, and all while, getting suplexed and body slammed and, dropped on my head.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the wrestling business, I mean, it's people think it's glamorous, like anything, but there's the things you got to go through to get what you want. In the words of my favorite band, one of my favorite bands, the Wild Hearts, they sang that song. So
I was talking, Calvin and I were talking about that when we were there it is, when we were in Atlanta, because. So we did the NWA show, the Hard Times 2 pay-per-view, which was great. Like, everybody, I mean, such an awesome locker room, great crew there at the NWA. My close personal friend, William, you know him as Billy Corgan.
Yes.
That's like the joke. It's like, oh yeah, I was hanging out with Billy Corgan. It's like, were you really? I said hi. But I mean, that whole crew there was awesome. But the show ran long. That night, the hotel lobby was pretty much you picked up the entire locker room and put it in the hotel lobby, and we're all sitting there, and everyone is just waiting for their Uber Eats to arrive.
Yeah,
and like we finally got our Uber Eats, and we got it 1:15 in the morning. And Calvin and I just went up to our rooms, and we sat on our beds and just ate whatever random food we were able to find on Uber Eats that took 40 minutes to come anyway. We were just talking about, like, all of these wrestlers and all of it, like, no one's losing sleep thinking about what I'm doing after a show, but all the talent there and everything. I'm sure there are some fans that are like, oh, they probably hop in their limos after, and they go get their $100 steak, at the restaurant, whatever. And meanwhile, it's like everybody's just sitting there just like, what'd you get? I got some sort of fried rice, something or another from an American restaurant. Cause like not even an Asian food restaurant, but I was willing to take anything I could get my hands on. Like, yeah. I think that's like just a tiny little, Chris Jericho has that great story of the night he won, that he became the undisputed champion. And he gets locked out of his room. He ends up getting pizza, puts the pizza on the bed, knocks the pizza over. So now he's eating cold pizza that he's picking pieces of carpet out of. And that was the night he became the undisputed champion.
Hey, McFoley won the world belt. He had 10 pounds of Chinese food and a Blue Meanie in his bed.
That's the thing. And it's there's that aspect of it where I feel like people just don't get that that's what comes along with it. Like, of course,
those are the great stories
aspects that come along with it. But when you're a kid and you're a fan and you're going, one day I want to do this, one day I want to be a part of this, those are the parts you're not thinking about. You're thinking about that rush of the crowd and the everything, and I'm gonna be there, and and the music's playing and the lights are flashing and all that, and you're not thinking about the what that actually entails to get to that point and what happens after.
And you hear all these wrestlers talk about the 10 minutes in their 10 to 15, 20 minutes in the ring is the moment where you feel the most free. Yeah. Because of all the things that you have to go through to, get to that point and stuff like that. Like I say, nobody pays me to wrestle. They pay me to leave the house. Mm-hmm. I've been turning down. I get a lot of offers for bookings now. It's just like, I turn down so many of them just because, is it worth leaving the house?
And obviously you don't mean like, is it worth like, oh, I don't want to meet fans. That's obviously not I don't want anybody to misunderstand. That's not at all what you're saying.
No. From a mental, physical, financial point, like, I was just saying this the other day. I wish I could put my 48-year-old brain in my 25-year-old body. All the stuff I know now, blah, blah, blah. But you got to factor in, just like when I tell people, if you're going to run a show, if you go run a show before you sell one ticket, you're probably in the hole for $5,000, $10,000. If I take a booking, I got to figure I'm in the hole for gas, tolls, food, just to and from. You got to figure that into what you're going to ask for.
Right.
If you have a side hustle, is it worth leaving my side hustle to go do this thing? Can they pay me when I'm going to miss out my side hustle and
more to make it worthwhile to have to do all that other stuff? Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm not leaving my house just to break even or maybe make a couple bucks at this stage of my life.
Right.
At 48 years old, when you're 20,
well, you also are.
You're willing to do anything.
Too. You earned the right to make those decisions. Slichter's here. Good morning, my friend. I feel like I haven't talked to you in a while, Slichter. We need to get together soon. Yes. But we talked about the green screen and all that stuff. I will tell you, the best thing to come from doing those shows at the community college was meeting Andy Slichter. That is no joke. That is if I really had to say what was the best thing that came from that, it certainly wasn't the roaring laughter of the audience. So it was definitely Slichter. But no, man, like it's you've earned this.
Slichter's great. Yeah.
You talk about like, oh, you wish you could put your current mind in your younger body, and yeah, I mean, God, I think anyone who says they wouldn't is lying. Like, why wouldn't you want to? Except for maybe The Rock.
All right.
That's the only guy who you could actually look at it and be like, no, man, that. Yeah,
he nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
But no, dude, like you've earned the right to be able to at this point say, yeah, I don't need to do. I don't want to do that. It's a lot of extra work. You hustled. You did the miles. You did all that stuff to earn that name to be able to say, yeah, I don't want to go unless it's this, unless it's that. I mean, it's still
I
a
certainly
business.
fooled enough. I fooled enough people.
That's all it is, man. That's all being successful is tricking people into thinking you know what the hell you're doing. Well, I'll be a son of a bitch. Little Jimmy from Nebraska has shown up here. Sorensen Level comes rolling in 45 minutes into a show.
With coffee in hand. Hey guys, how you doing? You know,
did you bring in for the class?
Yeah. Did you miss me, guys? You know. He's in his bathrobe. He's got some slippers. You know, just hey guys.
Oh, hi Pod Squad. Hello, Daddy Josh. Hey, let's not call me Daddy Josh. That's a
Little Jimmy calling you Daddy Josh.
That's a whole other. No, man, happy to have you here. Happy to have all of you here. Anybody who's still here with us, anybody who's listening. I mean, this is our 90th episode. I mean, people literally have tuned in to hear just shooting the shit, and it's so
funny. Didn't mean to cut you off there. Sorry. It's like, you know, when we first started doing this show, I was like, man, I always wanted to do a show kind of like the Joe Rogan thing. Two guys sit down there and just have a talk. And then as time goes by, I kind of want to be like the fucking Pat McAfee, you know, thing. You know, he seems to be having a lot more fun. Because I watch him every day too. He's part of my daily routine. And, you know, talk about a guy who just, you know, built something. He gave up. He gave up a position in football where you could at least play into your 40s, maybe almost 50 as a punter, to pursue his dream as, you know, an entertainer, right? Yeah. You know, he quit to be a writer. Now he's doing the podcast, and then he just signed this huge multi-million-dollar deal with FanDuel.
Yep.
And now he's just doing if you get a chance, go to his YouTube page and watch the video, and like what he's doing things right now that I've fantasized about doing. Like, you know, he talked about he's making all this money, but he's talking about hooking up the people who've helped him along the way. You know, the coach here and there, you know, giving money to the football program, you know, that he came up through as a kid to make sure to, you know, people have, you know, equipment and all this stuff and the other thing. And I was like, man, he's living a dream. He's doing, because like I have a list of people, you know, like if I was to ever win, like say the Powerball and became a gazillionaire, there's definitely a list of people on my, I'm definitely going to hook up list, because there's people who helped me along the way. You know, I wish there's certain people in my life I wish I could just, if I had enough money, just to put them on the payroll, just to chill.
Yeah.
Hey, you can still work if you want, but I'm giving you this money every week, just so.
Could you imagine if we actually paid Slichter? You know?
Yeah. You know?
But seriously, no, I totally get that.
I think
so
about
cool.
that.
It's so cool what he's doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, that really is the dream, to be able to give back to the people that helped you to get to where you are.
It's important too.
Yeah.
And some people forget those people, you know?
Yeah. I feel like I've always felt like somebody who, you know, I know I work hard for the things that I achieve, but I also, I know the leg up that I've had, whether it was just, you know, growing up in a stable family, and, you know, like it's, you know, the little things you just kind of take for granted sometimes. I just know that there's been a lot of opportunity that I've been provided that other people don't have, and I feel like my responsibility almost is to pay that forward in any way I can. Obviously, with my own kids, make sure that their life is as good, if not better, than mine. But just in general, you know, all the people who helped you get to where you are. And that includes, you know, for us, and it sounds like, you know, lip service, but that includes the Pod Squad. Yeah. We talk about it so much. Like we were talking earlier about all like the cool things we learned now doing this podcast, learning the equipment, learning the, you know, technology aspect of it, and how it's helped, your ability to do more interviews has helped me to do my job at Fight. And we wouldn't have been able to do that without people listening. Yeah. Because this podcast would have ended a long time ago if we were tuning in like, hey, who checked it out today? We had 6 people, it just wouldn't have, no matter how much fun we were having, we would have just, gone to just texting each other. That would have been it. So, I'm really grateful for these people here. Little Jimmy from Nebraska says, thank you, Mind of the Meanie. You're the best Christmas present ever. Man, I feel like your Christmases were not that great with that statement, but thank you. Well, no, man, thank you. Really appreciate it. Hey, out of curiosity.
Yes.
How would you feel about doing a little Ask Meanie?
I would love to.
Okay, but before we do that, we need to talk
about
Manscaped.
Our good
That's
friends.
Right. Hey, Meanie, it's holiday season, and you don't know what to get as a gift or stocking stuffer? Well, today's sponsor, Manscaped, has the tools to guarantee you win this year's stocking stuffer or white elephant competition. There's something there. Manscaped is the leader in men's below-the-waist grooming, and they have served more than 4 million men worldwide. If my math is correct, and it almost never is, that's almost 8 million balls.
I was doing the math before you fucking said that. It's so fun.
Get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com with code MEANIE20. Ho, 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 fellas. Naughty or nice, 'tis the season to perform. Manscaped's best-selling product is the Performance Package 4.0, which is at the top of every man's wish list this year. Inside, you'll find the Lawnmower Body Trimmer, the best trimmer on the market for your balls, butt, and body. That's right, the 3 Bs, everybody, balls, butt, and body, and the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer. Lest we forget, their famous liquid formulations, the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner to maximize your ball hygiene routine. Get the Performance Package now to receive their 2 free gifts, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. The dads can't stop talking about this. The teens secretly buy this, and the women will love you for it. Now, these are our picks for Manscaped Surefire Win Stocking Stuffer. So listen up, everybody. Number 1, the Manscaped 2-in-1 Shampoo and Conditioner. Just launched. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Number 2, the Manscaped Cologne Infused Body Wash. Number 3, Shears 2.0 Luxury 4-piece Nail Kit. Number 4, Crop Mops Ball Wipes for your stanky balls. Number 5, Manscaped Signature Cologne. These formulations are all vegan, cruelty-free, dye-free, sulfate-free, and paraben-free. I don't even know if I said that right. So you know their products are legit. And they're not just cruelty-free as in not used on animals, but cruelty-free as in you won't be cutting your own nuts anymore. Make sure you hurry to their site to ensure these wild gifts show up before the holiday season. And while you're at it, get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com with code MEANIE20. Whether this is for your partner, dad, brother, friend, get them something that they will actually use, and it's almost sure to get a laugh. Get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com with promo code MEANIE20. Be the ballsiest gift giver this year with Manscaped.
Yeah, I got the shampoo, conditioner, and the body wash from them. It's really nice.
Yeah, it was exciting. I got it was like an extra large package this time. It wasn't a traditional Manscaped package.
Yeah.
And my wife's like, you've got a big package here. And I was like, thanks for noticing. Finally. And she's like, no. I'm talking about this here in the foyer. Anyway.
Is that what she calls it?
Oh, man. So, yeah. Hey, let's ask Meanie anything.
Yeah, let's do that. It's time to ask Meanie anything. Ask me something.
All right. Let's see what we got here.
I still can't believe you auto-tuned that.
I know.
All these 90 weeks later,
It's the best thing I've ever done.
Yes.
All right. Did you guys get the Mark and Dryden question about world class or AWA?
No.
Okay. I kind of have to go
I don't
back
remember.
and check. What about the Anthony Camarada asking about rumors? Have you heard a rumor about yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you did do that. Okay. So Mark and Dryden asked, what was more painful to watch? The last couple-
we did do this question. I'm sorry.
Well, then I guess I'll just fuck myself. Okay.
Yeah. I'll answer it.
Did you get what's your favorite style of barbecue?
No.
DJ BBQ at DJ BBQSD writes, what's your favorite style of barbecue? What's one place you really want to try barbecue at?
My favorite style is yes. All of it. I almost hate talking about barbecue online because then you get the barbecue snobs that go, well, let me tell you about this. It's like,
put it in your green egg.
Yeah, it's like to talk about cheesesteaks in Philly or pizza in Connecticut. Motherfuckers think they invented fucking pizza up there.
Really?
Oh yeah, New Haven. There's like a certain area where, you haven't had pizza, so you had such and such pizza, and such Connecticut. It's like, shut the fuck up. I just want to eat some fucking pizza. All right, but barbecue. I don't know. There's a place here in Philly called Sweet Lucy's that's really nice, really good. And then I'm sure I'll have somebody from Kansas City going, well, actually, but, Sweet Lucy's is good. Anything, man. It depends. I say the same thing with music. It depends on my mood. One day I'm Britney Spears, the next day I'm Slayer. Depends on how I feel the day. I could go for something a little sweet, a little sweet and tangy. Or we used to go, what was that place? Famous Dave's we used to go to. And they had this mustard. It was really good, but we were like, give me that shitty mustard. I don't know why we called it shitty mustard, but it was good mustard, but I don't know. I guess compared to everything else that was on the table, know. But I'm sure people will friend down on me saying I went to Famous Dave's too, so who knows. But barbecue, any kind of barbecue. There's something about I love the smell of a good barbecue. Whether it's the pork or I like when they do the burnt ends, stuff like that. Anything really. Just I'm just a good old fashioned meat eater.
I haven't eaten meat in a couple of years, but when I was eating meat, I had a buddy that lived out in Vegas, and we would always have to go to this place, Lucille's Barbecue out there, and I would always get the tri-tip sandwich. It was like they did something to that meat for like hours or something, and it was so freaking good. It was so good. Yeah. And then when I lived in California, they had one there, and I went to it, and I ate so much that I thought there was like something wrong with me, like I was gonna die. Like it was just so good, but it was good. But let's see.
Eat until you shit your pants.
Yeah, I highly recommend anybody has Lucille's, and there's so many different Lucille's, but it's the one out in Vegas in California. So I don't know if there are any on the East Coast, but little Jimmy Sorensen says this podcast is truly wonderful, and the Patreon is worth every penny. And man, does he put a lot of pennies into it? So we appreciate that.
It's quite a few pennies.
Logan Barton, good to see you, Logan. I'm a mood drinker, eater, lover, and thinker. It's all about the weather. is a quote of himself.
Yes.
Agreed. Jimmy comes back again. Are you going to have a phenomenal Christmas? And have you ever tried JR's barbecue sauce?
Yeah, his JR's barbecue sauce is amazing. He has this seasoning too that I put on everything too. You know, I used to. He has this. I wish I could think of it. It's like a seasoning you put on. You could put on burgers, but I would even put it on my eggs.
Yeah,
You know, it was that good. Talking about mustard, JR's mustard is phenomenal.
I've heard really good things about it.
Dude, yeah. Like, I'm a fat guy, and if a fat guy says something's good, take that as a solid stock tip. You know, yeah. JR's stuff is no joke.
That's awesome. What else do we have here? Mark and Dryden. Since it would have been his 63rd birthday this past week, what are your guys' thoughts on Rick Rude?
Phenomenal worker. Probably one of the toughest guys in the business. You know, everybody talks about the hakus and stuff like that, but you know, Rude was legit badass. You know, he came from the world of arm wrestling as well, but you know, when in the short time he was with us in ECW, you know, when we're doing the pre-show workouts with Tracy Smothers, you know, Rick would be at ringside and he would come in and, you know, give us little pointers like, hey, if you're ever in this situation, if somebody tries to get cute with you, do this. Mm-hmm. And he would show you ways of, show us ways of, you know, to protect ourselves in the ring and stuff like that. And just different little things like, you're like, oh, wow, I wouldn't even have thought to do that. But, yeah, just a good guy, funny guy. You know, just a very, you know, dry humor. He could say things and just, you know, as a matter of factly, and you just pop. But, you know, great guy. Great guy, tough guy. Yeah, big guy. Funny guy. Somebody just posted a video of him taking an atomic drop, and it was like
I've seen. Yeah,
the coolest thing, because like he wasn't above making himself like look a little goofy to sell something, when in reality he could probably, you know, beat anybody's ass. You know.
I was always such a big fan of his because he just seemed so legit. Everything about him, and you'd look at in some ways his character, and your thought would be, well, that's not like a legit, you know, he's like, he doesn't, it was an amazing thing how he could be this badass tough guy who was coming out in a robe, oiled up, gyrating his hips, but he was so damn believable and tough that it worked, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
somebody posted a gift of him when he was the WCW International Champion. He had the big gold belt on him.
Yeah,
it looks so good on him. You know, some belts just look so good on people. There's some belts that look some belts look like they're custom made for somebody. You know, I saw a photo of Barry Windham with the U.S. title, and the one that
it just looks.
It looks like kind of like a sheriff's badge, and he's in his leather vest and stuff like that. I was like, that belt looks like it was made for that guy.
Yeah.
The TNT belt looks like it was made for Sammy Guevara. You know.
Yeah. No, I think that I can see that.
Same with Rick Rude, and the big gold looked amazing on him.
I think I always felt the Big Eagle belt.
Yeah.
I always felt that looked like it was made for Triple H.
It was.
I mean, even though it, like, you know, legitimately wasn't, in the sense that, you know, in the sense that it wasn't, obviously it was made before him, but man, it just always fit him just right, just perfectly right.
Yeah, and the thing is, I hated that belt until Triple H wore it. And then
interesting.
It looked like it was made for him.
That's interesting.
Well, I hated that belt out of spite because I was such a big Winged Eagle fan, and then the Winged Eagle looked like it was custom made for Steve Austin. You know.
The Winged Eagle. See, to me, well, which one are you? So
the one he won off of Shawn Michaels.
Yeah,
the Winged Eagle.
I mean, he only had that for like a second. See, that to me,
but the next day they got rid of it and they had the Big Eagle belt, and I was just like, I spite hated the Big Eagle belt because I wanted Austin to have the Winged Eagle belt for longer.
So to me, I was, it seemed like, Bret Hart. It always seemed to me like that was like his belt.
Yeah.
But there was also the Hogan belt. It just matched Hogan in my head. You know,
it's funny. It's funny. The night they debuted the Winged Eagle, Hogan did a pre-match tape with his previous belt.
Yeah.
And then like 2 seconds later, comes out of the ring. He's got the Winged Eagle belt. It's like, huh, what the fuck?
Yeah,
what?
Definitely, someone wasn't paying attention at that point.
Yeah. Where's the consistency? Where's the consistency, pal?
Yeah, I don't.
If you can even say that word, consistency.
Consistency.
Consistent. Yeah. Consistency.
Oh man.
Are you speaking no good?
What's that?
Are you speaking no good?
So our last question here, we kind of already touched base on a little bit. Mark and Dryden wanted to know our thoughts on Jeff Hardy's release. He said, in his opinion, if he refused rehab, WWE was in the right. I don't know that he,
that's all rumor.
I don't know if there's any truth to that.
I don't think anybody knows the real truth yet, so I don't really want to speculate.
And the reality is, it's so tough to, it would be so tough to say anyway, like, if he refused rehab, if that were true, if anyone were to have done that, then the company's kind of in like a, well, what are, look, we're willing to send you here. What do you want us to do? Right. And you have to start looking at it from a company standpoint. They've got, they have to think about themselves, their own reputation. They have to think about that. But
they are a publicly traded company.
Yeah. But I also, at the same time, I don't know that there's, any truth to that at all. So
right.
I would rather us not speculate in that regard.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
the only thing I will say is I hope Jeff's good. I hope he's doing well.
Yeah,
because I really do love that guy.
Yeah, and with that, we kind of don't have any other questions unless there's let's check our Patreon. Okay, here you go. The fucking Chick-fil-A sauce. They sell at stores now.
I was just reading
that. Okay, little Jimmy, what are your thoughts about last night's Vikings-Steelers game? I didn't watch it.
Dude. So, the Vikings were up 29-0 on the fucking Steelers, and the Steelers were like a touchdown, like a hair away from tying it. They came back from 29-0, and it would have been like one of the largest deficits anybody had ever come back from.
Yeah.
In a regular season game, there was a wild card game where I want to say the Buffalo Bills overcame a 32-point deficit against the Houston Oilers in a playoff game. So that doesn't count towards the regular season, but in the regular, but they were down. Eventually, it's 29-0, and then the Vikings got up to 36, I believe. But then, I forgot what I was doing. I wasn't looking, and then before you know it, the Steelers were up to 28. And if they would have scored a touchdown, they still would have had to do the 2-point conversion just to tie it. And I was listening to the rest of it on the radio, and just like they they got the ball back on their own 6, and they were able to march down to like the Vikings, 10. And Roethlisberger threw a touchdown pass. The guy caught it, but the defender hit him right at the same time and jarred the ball loose, so it didn't count as a catch. But it was like the perfect pro wrestling comeback where the babyface is just about to come back, and then all of a sudden, the last second, the heel pulls it out, and then just wins. But talk about a game that went from the game went from being an absolute piece of shit to like probably one of the greatest comebacks in football modern history. It was really something to watch if you hung in there long enough to watch. And I was hanging in there till like 28-0, and then I had to go run an errand and stuff. So I was like, I gotta listen to the car. The radio announcers are always more exciting because they got to paint that picture, know. So yeah, dude, if you didn't see that, at least check out the highlights.
I will. Yeah, that sounds really.
In the beginning of the game, the Steelers were just so bad. Ben Roethlisberger got sacked a couple times, and I follow along on Twitter and just to see what people are saying. People are like, one of my favorite comebacks was like somebody was like, "What were the Steelers doing at practice this week?" And Chris Long was like, "I guess they were playing music." Just they weren't really practicing.
Yeah, right.
Just to watch all these people, all the players and pontificators, going, man, this game sucks. Then all of a sudden, fucking Steelers score a touchdown. You're like, okay, you're 3 away. Score another touchdown. Oh, all right. And then like, oh my God, they could have tied it. After being down 29-0, and then the Vikings threw a bomb and got up to like maybe 37 points, and then like the Steelers had to overcome that and came within a 96-yard drive of tying it. It was amazing.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I will.
And
definitely it's weird how
it's weird how I get more fired up about modern sports than some wrestling.
It's all about. Look, it's again, it's all about the story, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So that's the thing. Like, are you getting?
I love watching the storyline within the game.
Yeah, I mean that's it. If you're not getting that same feeling,
yeah. And I was invested in this game because the Eagles, as much as they stink this season, I mean it's a rebuild.
Sure,
but
it's gonna take some time.
Yeah, but if the season was to end this week, they would have the last spot in the wild card round, and the Eagles need some certain teams to lose to cement their spot in the wild card. I think they need the Vikings to lose some games, and I think they need the 49ers to lose some games and the Rams to lose some games to cement their spot on, because they expanded the playoffs. With an extra wild card. So they would have that extra wild card spot, which is smart on the NFL's part because, people won't check out on the season as quick, knowing that there's an extra spot in the playoffs,
I think, look, I really every season I'm really excited to watch the Eagles.
Yeah.
And this season, it's been what it's been. But
it's been better than last season.
That's true. That's true. So I've never been, and we've talked about this in the past, like I've never been a big, like I'm an Eagles fan, but I'm not as much of I don't really watch football that's not an Eagles game as much because I just can't get into it. I can't get as invested. But what I will do is look at the highlights of the game that we were just talking about because, again, that's the thing. It's just like when you're saying you're more into that than pro wrestling. Like, it's all about that story. It's all about the entertainment. And in a way, all sports are sports entertainment.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, look at the graphics used, or assets, as some would say. It's a little inside baseball. But no, so you look at all of that and you go, it's all sports entertainment now.
If Vince would just thought to trademark that term.
Yeah.
Because I heard Comcast, our sports entertainment plan. Oh, Vince could have sued.
We've got a couple more questions, and then we're going to wrap it up. But we do have Logan Barton says, if you can enter the ring to one Van Halen song, what would it be?
Oh, Unchained, of course.
He also says, did you watch Jurassic Park yet?
Absolutely not. I'm watching the documentaries over here, pal.
Slichter. Well, that's a documentary. It's a documentary on what would happen if. Slichter wants to know: can you get Comcast to sell the Flyers? Can you call?
God.
Can you just call someone?
Yeah, dude. There's a great news footage during the week because the Flyers are so bad, and for whatever reason, I don't know why. Down at the Wells Fargo Center, they had these canine dogs walking the ice. And one of the dogs just stopped and took a shit right on the Flyers logo.
I mean, first of all, yeah, this feels right. Secondly, why would you have the dog? Like, what was the point?
I have no idea why these canine police dogs were on the ice.
So I don't know if it was. I don't know.
But the dog just stopped right on the fucking pee and dropped the deuce.
I don't know if it was
so
Slichter
fitting.
posted this or not, but there was some like meme of just like this like cartoon guy just with a stick poking the Flyers logo saying do something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
What are you gonna do?
That's Philly sports in a nutshell. Dude, imagine being a Philly sportscaster. It's gotta be rough.
I feel like not as bad as being a WWE broadcaster at times.
Dude, I watch all these guys do live reaction videos. You know, they'll live stream right after Raw, right after NXT. It's like, why would you do that? Why would you put yourself through that?
Yeah.
You're putting yourself in a situation to watch something you know you're not going to like.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. But we hope you like this. I hope you like this episode.
Andy Slichter said it was such a fitting tribute, and to that I say it was such a shitting tribute.
Zinger. Where is it?
Bazinga.
Where is it? There we go. Nice.
There we go.
Oh man, Meanie, this was fun. This was a good one. Or it was a one. I had fun.
Yeah, I had a blast.
The Pod Squad eventually joined us, the Patreon Pod Squad.
Considering I didn't want to get out of bed.
Yeah.
Because Inside Baseball, we're recording this we started at like 10 a.m. Friday, which means I got up around 9, but I only had like 4 hours of sleep. You know, I could not sleep last night. So, but once we got in the groove of talking,
yes,
it made this day worth it.
Yeah. Now you can go back to sleep. But yeah, this was great as always. It is hard to believe we only have 2 episodes left in the year.
So crazy.
But we'll be back for those. In the meantime, check us out on social media if you haven't already. Give us a follow over at Mind of the Meanie, at Blue Meanie BWO, and at So Says Shernoff. Check out all of our merch at ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie, ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie, and ProWrestlingTees.com/So Says Shernoff. There's Cameo, Cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO, Cameo.com/So Says Shernoff, the loneliest cameo there is. There's some fun opportunities for all of you with the holidays to have us wish people a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So take advantage of that. And then of course, you have to go to patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. We're going to be doing a Zoom call coming up. I want to say on the 19th of December, I think is tentatively when that's planned for. On a Sunday. So you want to hop in on that Zoom call? Now's your time. You've got 6 days from when you're hearing this. Jump on the bandwagon. We want you there. Mind of the Meanie over at patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. Thanks, Manscaped. Promo code Meanie20. Go get some beard care at
Mad Cat Beard Care.
Beard Care. There you go. You can say, Blue Meanie's got his own scent over there, which is
the blue spruce.
The blue spruce, which smells a lot better than the Blue Meanie.
Yes,
but yeah, they're awesome. They're doing great things over there, and what better time than the holidays to get a gift like that for somebody, or just get a gift for yourself.
Yeah.
Anything else, Meanie? Anything I missed?
I got my Mad Cat beard comb that I brush my beard with. Nice. And thank you to everybody who has joined us each and every week here on Patreon, and download us each and every week at 6 a.m. every Monday morning.
Yeah, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, youtube.com/Mind of the Meanie. Great way to listen to the pod.
Yeah, we got to give that some more love.
Oh, and last thing that I have to say at least.
Yes.
Get those action figures right now. Go right now. Mind of the Meanie 2-pack. They're almost gone. Now, Meanie still, full disclosure, Meanie has some that he has to sell at his gimmick table whenever he's doing something like that. But if you want to, Meanie, I think he only has maybe 30 left or so. It's not
something like
it sounds
that,
like a lot, but it's not a lot. That's like one appearance or two appearances, and they're gone. So if you want any right now, we have not a lot left. We had a lot of success on our Blue Friday and Cyber Meanie sales. So there's next to nothing left. I think there's 3 signed ones left. So get it now while you can. Go to mindofthemeanie.com to pick up your Mind of the Meanie 2-pack.
Yeah, I'll have some Saturday, December 18th at the 2300 Arena for Icons of Wrestling Convention. So if you want some, come get some. I'll have some of those, and I'll have some of my brother's Gatter Wrestle Buddies.
Nice. See that right over your shoulder right now. And you could be seeing that right over his shoulder as well if you went to patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie, and you could watch this live and be a part of it and have us name the show after you. Like today's episode of Shackleford Beats the Hammer.
Yeah.
And with that, Meanie, anything else you want to share?
Thank you, Josh, and thank you to the fans who listen.
I thank you, and I also thank the fans. And I thank you all for coming back next Monday to join us like you have for the last 90 weeks and for the next 90 weeks. Every Monday for another trip to the mind of the
Blue World Order. The world of MLW radio never stops.